Right, so after the Krebs cycle we had 5 NADH produced and we have 1 ATP molecule. Remember NAD, what does it do? It picks up 2 electrons, it picks up a hydrogen to form NADH. NADH travels off to the electron transport chain where it will dump, it dumps 2 electrons and it will dump a hydrogen. What does it come back as? NAD plus. Back to the Krebs cycle to pick up 2 electrons and a hydrogen. So NAD plus is picking up 2 electrons and a hydrogen and carrying it to the electron transport chain and dumping the 2 electrons and dumping the hydrogen. That's its job. It's an energy carrier. Right, in the electron transport chain, NADH, it dumps its 2 electrons and it dumps its hydrogen. We'll talk about the hydrogen in a second. So as the 2 electrons release energy, it forms how many molecules of ATP?
That's right.
The reason for the steps is the steps demonstrate that it's releasing its energy. So it forms 1, 2, 3 molecules of ATP plus water and NADH, so the 2 electrons are released, and what else is released?
2 hydrogens.
So the hydrogen is released. Yeah. The reason why it's got 2 H's at the plus at the bottom, how many of these would you need to? You'd need to do it twice, wouldn't you? Right, so the hydrogen is released. So the 2 electrons, what happens to the 2 electrons? The 2 electrons down here, that represents the 2 electrons at their lowest point, the lowest energy. Right, so what happens to the 2 electrons? They combine with?
2 hydrogen.
Yeah, so the 2 electrons, so the electrons will readily combine with the 2 hydrogens. And, well, to balance the equation it has to be a half O2. So they combine to form H2O. Hydrogen is a toxic substance in our body. We have to get rid of it. Where does this oxygen come from? What, we breathe it in, we inhale it, we breathe it in, or it could come from, yeah? It could come from? Yeah, could from the splitting of water. Could come from well, anyway, we need oxygen, 2E minus, 2H plus, and half O2 to form oxygen. Remember, the purpose of the electron transport chain is to produce vast quantities of ATP. So for every 1 NADH produced, how many ATP does it produce? 3. And how many NADPHs did we say was heading for the electron transport chain? 5. So 5 times 3 is 15. And remember, we had the 1 ATP. So from the Krebs cycle onwards, you have 5 times 3, that's 15 ATP plus 1, 16 ATP produced.